African American children in foster care, racial disproportionality. My name is Darshay Richardson. I'm in 2021 Spring Applied Research and Social Work, Section 1, with Professor Watson. Summary. African American children are overrepresented in foster care. It is very rare that African American adolescents experience positive outcomes while in foster care versus their peers. Why is this? What efforts are foster homes putting in to change the direction of these adolescents' futures? All questions will be specifically related to how African American children are treated and or cared for by their foster parents, the steps they take to make life comfortable for them, their viewpoints on racial dispositions in foster care, and how they help these children avoid the stigmas that come with African American children in foster care. Why are African American children overrepresented in foster care? Child and parent factors, organizational, and community factors are the three categories that represent overrepresentation of minorities in child welfare. African Americans have one of the highest rates for false positive referrals, as well as a high rate of false negatives, which are families with no referral but the children are being neglected and or abused. African Americans represent a great majority of families who are involved in parental rights cases. Around 1.5% of African American children are said to experience the termination of parental rights by age 18. Poverty and racial discrimination are the top two reasons African American children were placed in foster care. A theory to why African American children are overrepresented. Racial discrimination has been widely speculated as one of the number one causes for the welfare system being against African American families. In 2016, nearly a quarter of African American children were enrolled in foster care. African American children account for 14% of children in the U.S. population, but represent 24% of children in foster care. Black children are more likely to experience multiple placements, experience group care. They are less likely to establish a permanent placement and more likely to experience poor social, behavioral, and educational behavior. Participants. Who will be my research participants and how will they be recruited? There are about 113 homes in North Carolina, all of which house African American children. I need at least 50 to 60 participants, that's about half. Each foster parent must be a guardian of African American children. They need at least 3 years of experience. The foster parents who are eligible to participate will be recruited via email. The email will contain what the project is, the requirements, the benefits, how the interview will be conducted. A follow-up email will be sent out to those who are eligible. Participants will send out a desired time for meeting. They have to read over and sign their IRB documents, which is what this project is. It's also free research. They will sign a consent form, etc. My study design, I will be collecting data through an open-ended interview consisting of about 5 questions. It'll be recorded via phone and through notes. My interview questions are, what is your perception of overrepresentation? That is, why do you think children of color are overrepresented in the child welfare system? What types of services, programs, or policies do you think are necessary to reduce the overrepresentation of children of color in the child welfare system? What have you done as a foster parent, if anything, to improve the delivery of services to children and families of colors? What are some strategies they use to help improve the living arrangements as well as attitudes of these children? How do African American children cope mentally, physically, and emotionally when living in foster care? Methodology. Interviews will be held 3 times a week for about 3 weeks from March 14th through the 28th. The interviews will be recorded via phone recording and through notes. All participants will have to sign a consent form. They'll go over the regulations of the study before participating so that everyone is aware of what they are signing up for if they choose to participate. Participants can leave the study whenever they see fit. They do not have to answer anything they're not comfortable with. They will be debriefed when exiting the study. There will be a follow-up about a month after my research is concluded just to touch base with the foster parents. I want to see if they learned anything from other foster parents' responses, if their way of treating and teaching African American children has changed or remained the same. And in conclusion, I feel like this study will be an eye-opener to see how foster parents, especially ones of the opposite race, have adjusted to ensure that the children transition properly into their homes. They can help identify the flaws in the system and go into detail about the treatment of African American families when they go through the process of having their children placed in foster care. They can also list why their foster home or homes are great states for the children, the benefits they provide for them, and how they will prepare them for the future. This is my big